Hello, everybody. It's Christine Roberts here again, success coach, author, and speaker. Today, we're going to talk about incomplete an exercise that helps to walk you through what really drives you to accomplish anything in life. If you haven't already, go ahead, download and print this tool while we go through it together. So this tool, this exercise is called 7 Levels Deep. And it's helped me because it anchored me in my soul of why I do what I do. And I believe it'll do the same for you. So why do I want to gain capabilities? Why do I want more success? Why do I want to achieve more? Why do you? Most people really don't know. They know on a surface level, and when you can go from a surface level, from a mind thing, from thoughts on why you want to be successful to anchoring it in your heart with feelings and emotions, there's no stopping you. This is an exercise you need to do individually and again if you're part of a group. As we go through this, I'm going to share my answers, which hopefully will help you answer as well and stir up and inspire you with whatever is on your heart. So going through this exercise, I thought my drive to accomplish was because I want to have abundance and achieve so others believe it's possible too. By scaling my business, I want the women who participate in my coaching courses to take action. In other words, I want more women to have results. However, as I dug deeper on all of these questions, I learned so much about myself, and it was a true gift for me, and I hope it'll be a true gift for you. So let me just share with you what I had filled out. So here it's the 7 levels deep. So when we look at what's important to you to becoming successful, right? Here's some of the answers that I gave. And again, I'm just hoping that that'll, you know, inspire you as you think about and marinate on the answers. And so as you see here, when you answer, the next question, the next step is asking yourself why you want the previous answer and why it's important to you. The process is the more you ask why from the previous answer, you get less in your head and you end up landing in your heart. I had an epiphany when I got to my real why. And when I figured it out, it was an awakening. I guess I knew this at a subconscious level. Now, I'm aware that, like we want intrinsic reasons for things, which ultimately is what drives our long-term results, right? And I know that when you dig down in this, it's going to drive you to your intrinsic results. And a lot of times we're not conscious, but when we do become aware, it gives us that anchor. So you see my first response. What is your answer? Now, why? So for me, why do I want to scale my business and have women get results? The answer is because I grew up in a pretty dysfunctional environment with a dad who drank too much. I witnessed, domestic violence and am a survivor of sexual abuse as a child. I've overcome a lot, and I want other women to know and believe that regardless of where you came from or where you are today, that you're capable of creating your best life. Ultimately, I want to have a positive impact on the world. So, that's my why. So now, because I want to have a positive impact on the world and start a movement to raise awareness to thought and how being intentional about what we feed our minds directly affects the quality of our lives, like that's really what drives me. So, when I think about that, when you look at that, it's like, well, why is that important to raise awareness to thought? So as you're going through this, what is it for you? So for me, I want to leave a legacy of changing lives for the better. That's probably going to be on the top of your list too, if you're here listening to this. And I see so many people, struggling with plaguing negative thoughts, fear, anxiety, stress, depression. And I truly believe that when we're intentional about what we take into our minds, we can shift to a healthy thought life, which drives everything. What we think about most determines the quality of our entire life, right? So I want to be known as a person who made a tremendous impact raising awareness to thought and create a movement, create a legacy. And, leaving a legacy is about never wanting to live like I did in my childhood. And I don't want others to live that way either. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit more. And you can see my answers here. And the first few answers are still, coming from our head, from our logic. But this is about the time that the shift happens in these whys. And it gets hard to answer at first. You probably will feel the same way. And what do you think? So when you look at this, what do you think so far? I know that we're just kind of getting started in this, but I hope that your creative juices are starting to flow with your answers. And so now the next question is, well, why? Like for me, why do I want to leave a legacy? What is your why? Why I want to leave a legacy is because I want to have choices. I want our family to have choices. I never want to go backwards. When I was 16, my parents divorced, which for me was a godsend. I was happy when they got divorced because the environment was so stressful and toxic. I dreaded going to bed at night because I would frequently be woken up to my parents, fighting. Now, that was the year, when I was 16, that was the year that I was, supposed to start applying to colleges. And although the time came and went to submit applications and make deposits, there was so much disruption in our family that it never happened. And I remember feeling devastated and was determined to figure out how I was going to be successful and change the trajectory of my life. They say what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And when I look back, I know what it's like to feel like options are limited. And there is no one that would be bailing me out of anything. I was on my own and I had to figure things out at a very young age. Although I was determined. So I'm not sure what your story is. You may be saying, oh, wow, or you might be saying, that's nothing. Either way, it isn't about pity or comparison. This is about figuring out your why. What is it for you? So now when I think about that, it is getting pretty deep. And it should for you too. Literally at that moment, I went from here to my heart. And when then I thought about something like I never want to go backwards. And I know what it's like to be broke. There were fights about money all the time when I was a kid, and we couldn't afford the jeans that I wanted, or if I wanted anything out of the norm, we never had the money for it. It was about bare minimum and a lack mindset, and I've had to overcome and change my mindset and, change my thinking about what's possible. Now, the great news is that I learned to take care of myself at a very young age and figured out how to make things happen. Growing up, it wasn't about becoming your best self, self-actualization. It was about survival. And I'm living an amazing, abundant life, and I never want to go back to that. I never want to go backwards. So what are you thinking? How are you feeling? When I'm sharing this, I hope that you are focusing on your answers and are really soul searching. As we move to the next question, just to recap the process I went through, again, I want to scale my business. And for women to get results, I want to make positive impact. I want to raise awareness to thought, leave a legacy, not live like my childhood and not go backwards. So why do you not want to go backwards? Like, that's the question I was asking myself. I was like, wow. And then all of a sudden, when I was thinking about that, if any of you have children, you know what I'm talking about. I thought of my children, and I get really choked up when I think about them because ultimately, I want my kids to have choices, right? I'm sure if you're a mom, you do too. I don't want to raise entitled brats. I just want my kids to have the choices that I didn't have, to have the freedom to go after their goals and their dreams. As long as they go after it and they have the fight in them, I want to support them and give them choices. And I thought, that's it, my kids, but that's only 6. I have one more time to ask why. Why do you, so then it's like to myself, why do you want your kids to have choices? And then that's when my true number one why popped up. And this is the one where I revisit almost every day and I say, I want to be in charge of my life. You know, when I say that, what I mean is I want to make decisions on what my days look like. I want to be able to take my kids to their sports, go to their events, have lunch with my husband, volunteer during the day, be in charge of my life where no one's calling the shots but me. Now, I know I'm not in control. I mean, I'm Christian and I know that God's in control, but I want to just be in charge of managing my life when it comes to my day-to-day activities. I think you know what the spirit of what I'm saying is. And of course, being married and having children, there's there's other people I have to consider, but I don't want to ask permission when I want to go on vacation. I don't want to ask permission to get my kids early from school or go to sports events. Life was just out of control as a kid, and I found out that I wanted to be in charge of my life. Now that's my story. What's yours? I'm only sharing my story because I want to inspire you to really think about yours. And I hope that I hope that you're able to dig down and dig deep into your intrinsic why. I mean, this is a tool that you need to do. So think it through. Do it with someone else. Take this exercise and, do it with your family or fill it out honestly individually. And then if you're in a group, share it. Put yourself in a state where you're ready to grow and you're ready to break the ceiling from where you are currently. You're ready to incorporate new thinking, new passion, and a new why that'll catapult you. Now think about this. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you want to make more money, learn marketing, learn karate, learn how to do hair, learn to be a virtual assistant, scale your company, learn Shopify, Yahoo, Google AdWords, whatever. You still need to know why you want it. And this is about empowerment. So take the time to do this activity and take the time to do this activity. It'll be worth it. This is about empowerment and that you'll be anchored in your why. And when you are, you're unstoppable. And I hope and pray that this information is helpful to you. Feel free to reach out to me, ChristineMRoberts.com. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Go out and create your best life, even if it feels impossible. Bye-bye.